Let the meltdown continue. Oh, we're going to podcast on this forever. Libs gone mad. Election snowflakes rush to New York City shrinks offices after Trump win. It's not just New York City. We also got just an absolute Looney Tune at a fraternity organization at University of Oregon in the state of Oregon. So you're going to want to stay put right here till we get through this. This is some good stuff. Here we go. I don't know about you. I've been watching a lot of CNN because it is so Fox News, we've known that content, and they're just saying basically, I told you so. But CNN is faced with, well, we said this thing and that didn't happen. What do we do moving forward? I don't know. Don't put a guy who has dementia up there for president and then pull him down with only 100 days for your even weaker candidate to try and run $1 billion campaign. You know, she spent $1 billion not going on Joe Rogan. Yeah. Instead, going on Club Shay Shay and Call Her Daddy, which is famous for the 𝗥𝗘𝗠𝗦𝗢𝗡 episode. Let's watch this video. This is some good stuff, right? This is some good stuff. The 𝗥𝗘𝗠𝗦𝗢𝗡. It's not an indictment on, her skills at all. Yeah, here we go.
So again, I'm profoundly disturbed that the 14th Amendment of the Constitution did not prevent someone who participated in an insurrection from becoming president of the United States. I think that going forward, the convicted felon box on employment applications better be taken off, because if you can be the president of the United States, then you should not be prevented from employment in this country, because I remember applying for my jobs as a federal prosecutor, and there was a box for convicted felons.
We're all going to have to wake up tomorrow morning and work like hell to move the world to the place that we prefer it to be. And I just want to
John, we're already there. Thanks, buddy. I hear what you're saying.
Point out, just as a matter of perspective, that the lessons that our pundits take away from these results, that they will pronounce with certainty, will be wrong. and we have to remember that. I literally could go
just like the polls. The only thing that was spot on were the betting odds. Vegas. Huh. Weird, right?
On all day. And yet you talk to Trump voters and they'll go, he didn't say that. Wait, now I didn't hear him. And then you say, well, here's the quote. And then they'll go, yeah, he didn't mean that.
I didn't expect it to be this resounding. And I think there are some lessons from it. I think we forget about rural America. I think
there are some lessons from it. No, you just had the lesson. That was the lesson.
The working class feels left behind. They feel like the powerful, the elite only care about them and their power. And he spoke to them. We may not have liked his words, but they turned out for him.
It's not the elite that's going to pay the price. It's people who woke up this morning with a dream and are going to bed with a nightmare. And those people didn't deserve to be respected and held and talked to. Those are the people who are going to pay the price for whatever Donald Trump decides to do.
I'm mystified in some ways. Who are we as a country? And we're starting to find out.
You're a bunch of people that are more concerned with inflation, how they're going to pay the bills, how expensive gas is, than whether or not boys need a tampon machine in their bathroom, or, are they going to be able to get an abortion? That's just not. Democrats, you guys totally missed the entire campaign. And the United States kind of stood up and went, yeah, well, what were they doing over there on the left? Yeah, well, even though we don't like Trump, and this is how so many middle of the road folks, he says a lot of stuff and he's done some stuff. They're like, but I got to go with him. And I've got a lot of people in my life personally that went down that road. And I'm like, because they didn't have a choice. Democrats, you guys went so far to the left, even with your pick, Kamala Harris, supporting defund the police, supporting Black Lives Matter. You know what I mean? And then Tampon Tim with his tampon machines. Don't even need to say any more. Let's keep going, though. This is good, right?
I think this is a big, huge part of the story that it's hard to even digest fully at this moment. But you have Elon Musk, who owns Twitter, X, whatever we're calling it these days, X, who is a disinformation propagandist and now has could potentially have a direct line to the.
You're just pissed you didn't think of it. You didn't have somebody buy that. You're just pissed. You're like, man, we missed that opportunity. And Elon Musk, he's going to have a position. He's going to make decisions for the country. I mean, God bless America.
Oval Office.
These Democratic leaders are simpletons. They're servants of the donor class. So they go in there like, donor, give me money, please. And I made an ad. I'm Kamala Harris. I'm full of joy. Okay, well, what did that get you? And they say, oh, Jake, you're too angry. Too angry? What? You think?
This don't make no sense.
It's absolutely astounding, isn't it? I mean, just the meltdown is a thing of beauty because mainstream media and for everybody on the right, we were told this was going to be a close election. We were told that how many thousands of times? The polls are showing this is close. And yet I just didn't know of too many people that were just gung-ho with Kamala Harris. And at election time, a number of people in my immediate circle, I'm not sure about yours, that normally would vote Democrat just right across party lines, their one vote was for President-elect Trump, and they had been ardent against Trump in the past. But that's how far Democrats have pushed and basically run a terrible campaign, starting with running Biden. And they ran him into the ground to the point where it was just so apparent on that debate that he couldn't go on. It was just so apparent. Well, I guess we rode that horse into the ground. Well, let's ride Kamala. Let's see how this goes. Yeah, that didn't end up well either. If you're enjoying this content, love you have to jump on over to reasonabletv.com. That is our private members only community. We've got stuff. I'm going to show you some fentanyl deaths declining due to users. The users are dying out at such a rapid rate that fentanyl use is actually coming down. It's like a forest fire. The tinder is being burned out. Wild stuff. If you want to talk about that, because we can't talk about that on the normal channel because of, what's it going to cost you? $3.99 a month, less than a cup of one coffee, just about anywhere now, right? And if you do it on a yearly basis, even less than that, $39.99 a year. And you get a 14-day trial, sign up, see if you like it, see if you like the stuff. I'll see you there. Let them cry it out. Liberals in deep blue New York City, shocked and disturbed by President-elect Donald Trump's election victory, are flooding shrinks' inboxes looking for appointments. I need somebody to talk to. We lost. Yeah, get in line. The whole city is going down that road. But you know what's interesting? Even in New York City, there was a shift. There was a noticeable shift. AOC's district went hard right. AOC. Like, I don't need any more of this ridiculousness. This, And Kamala Harris identified with the far left. She tried to say, hey, I'm the one that's prosecuted these big Mexican gangs. And you're like, yeah, but not very well. You let most of them go. And your record as a prosecutor is part of the reason California is as bad as it is, right? When Gavin Newsom goes to run, all the Republicans are going to have to do is just do an enormous hit of reels of just driving down the streets. All right, here's somebody bipping a car. All right, here's human poop on the sidewalk. There's, drugs being sold, drugs being dealt. You got people in all those fentanyl positions. You got homelessness everywhere, graffiti. Just do a reel of that with nothing. And then at the end, keep voting blue, including gruesome Newsom. It's going to work out just fine. I mean, that's such a simple campaign. Even a real estate guy could think of it. It's a perfect storm to New York therapists, said Manhattan psychologist Chloe Carmichael, who estimated she's received a 15% spike in inquiries from patients. It's a repeat of 2016, where a lot of people feel really scared and traumatized and angry because they're snowflakes that aren't used to dealing with adversity. The millennial generation has a difficult time, and generations before them have a difficult time with adversity because they've grown up with parents who've just coddled them and said, you're special, you're unique, you're a unique snowflake. Here's your participation ribbon. And unfortunately, all that support and all that loving and when things go sideways in your life, you don't have a skill set to be able to say, okay, this is going to suck, but I'm going to get through this. That's what my generation lacked in parenting. We gave up spanking. We gave up all that stuff. We're just going to be better parents at this. And these are the end results. No generation is perfect, but the end results are you got a bunch of people who can't work their way out of a wet paper bag. So, on Wednesday morning, New York City-based psychotherapist Llison Cohen woke up to a deluge of paranoid texts from clients begging for extra appointments this week, many of whom claim to be afraid for their futures and that of their children. All right. Let's have a little session. This is a Sean session with Sean. You're not going to have mass deportations. You're going to have some. It's not going to be 8 million people. You're not going to have your ability to get an abortion taken away on a national basis. Not going to happen. All this other ridiculousness. Oh, my rights as a female are going to be taken away. No. I mean, what's wrong with you? You guys are just paranoid. And you're in this echo chamber that told you it was a close race that didn't work out. And then you're, oh my gosh, what's going on? All right. Like Candace Owens says, life's tough. Get a helmet. That's fair enough advice, right? I've even already heard some female clients who say they are now second-guessing having children out of fears for their health as it relates to pregnancy-related medical care. You know what? It's not going to end. This isn't some far-fetched civil war, scenario that we're going into. Not yet. I'll just leave that one alone, but it's worse for couples, said Lisa Braitman, a psychotherapist and relationship specialist in Midtown. Romance hit the rock for relationships where each person voted for different candidates. You know what I found funny is a whole bunch of young men and some young women basically lied to their girlfriends, lied to their significant others, lied to their wives and said, oh yeah, I voted for Kamala. And then they didn't. They voted for Trump. Straight up. They lied because no guy wants to tell his girl, oh yeah, I'm just going to be completely honest with you, complete transparency, because look at how well that works, right? Guys, if you've ever tried that approach, it doesn't work well. You just get immediately, dumped on, right? I'm supposed to be able to just say what you want and I'll accept whatever. That doesn't happen. If your girl is a total Kamala Harris and Tampon Tim fan and you tell them that you've, voted for Trump, World War III. So no guy wants to go down that road. They want to keep getting, what. They want the gravy train to keep on going. So the numbers say, survey says, there's a lot of young men out there that woke up and some young women that woke up and said, you know what? As bad as Trump is to me personally, I'm going to vote for that bastard. Yeah, I'm going to do it. And the rest of us are like, hey, glad you woke up. Glad you're making a participation in politics in 2024. Welcome to the club. You voted for Trump. Well done. If a woman was saying, what about my rights as a woman, and her boyfriend or husband voted for Trump, it felt like a personal unwillingness to understand them. We can agree to disagree. And if you can't do that, then you need to go hide under a rock because life ain't going to be easy the next 4 years. I've had a lot of liberal friends go, I am not looking forward to the next 4 years. And I get it. Trump is the polar opposite of what they're looking for, which is, I'm not really sure, a wide open southern border, drug overdoses, something about trannies. I could never really work that one out. Tampons in men's bathrooms. They're really worked up about the whole abortion thing. And it's just not going to go away. It's not going to go away. It's now up to the states to decide. So, this whole notion of, Following a meeting with a split-party couple, a woman who voted Democrat asked for an additional appointment with Braitman next week, alone. I need to come to you and tell you how I'm feeling. Your guy voted for somebody who's realistic. Maybe you're the one, if you look at the numbers across the country, maybe you're the one in the minority for a reason. Yeah, weird, right? She's in shock. She's trying to navigate her emotions. You don't see Republicans running to therapists when Sleepy Joe won, do you? No, we sulk and we lash out with, ridiculous things. We go down that road. We go, let's go, Brandon. We come up with that kind of thing. In massive stadiums, we say, F Biden. Okay, all right. I mean, not the most healthy of responses, but that's what Republicans do. We do not go. I repeat, we do not go to our therapists. It's like, no, it's part of life. You're going to have some adversity. Sometimes things aren't going to go your way. End of Tony Robbins moment. She's in shock. She's trying to navigate her emotions and needing to process with somebody who really understands the pain she's feeling. Okay. If that makes you happy, fine. It doesn't impact me. You're going to see a therapist? All right. Maybe you should look into the reasons why you thought Kamala Harris would win. Yeah, maybe chat that over and then look at the actual results. Maybe you should look at the results of the number of people that followed the Donald Trump podcast on Joe Rogan and JD Vance, and then compare that with the number of people who tuned in to call her daddy and the 𝗨𝗪𝗧𝗪𝗧 show. I'll give you a hint. It's like, is it like 60 million to maybe a little over 2 million? Yeah. When the other person voted for someone else, they're not feeling that pain. They're jubilant. Yep, jubilant. Jubilant is a really good word. When I woke up on Wednesday, I was jubilant. My birthday was on Thursday. What a good birthday present. I was jubilant. The quick and decisive nature of Trump's victory with the GOP nominee, even clinching the popular vote. Can you believe that? What world are we living in? What down under are we living in? Hey, by the way, you just woke up out of a 4-year coma. Trump's president. He won the popular vote. Whole bunch of states voted red instead of blue. Washington State and Oregon, you guys still suck. But, the down under can't completely flip flop, can it? Even clinching the popular vote was the silver lining, Carmichael said. People were terrified about facing days and weeks of uncertainty, she said. The clarity can be kind of a saving grace. Now, what I'm going to end with is how the polls were so off. And you know what's interesting is folks that I know that are die-hard liberals for one reason or other, they were really concerned going into the election, like avoiding all media kind of going into the election. I'm just glued to it because I want to know what's going on, because I'm told, hey, we've got a fighting chance. I'm going to support Republicans. I'm going to support conservative ideals. I'm going to support being reasonable. All this other horse, what, is just simply not reasonable. Like Tampon Tim, your vice president of the United States that you threw out there. Literally tampon machines in boys' restrooms and locker rooms. I'm really hung up on that one, if you can't tell. It's just like, you voted for him, and then you are wondering why you didn't get your people elected? Okay. Anywho, we've got one more quick segment we're going to do. We got to get to this. University of Oregon Greek life staffer on leave after telling Trump voters to jump off a bridge. That's not inclusive language. That's not loving language. That's not compassion for your fellow human being. Hey, by the way, go jump off a bridge. Yeah. University of Oregon Greek life administrator. Doesn't that figure? University of Oregon and Greek life administrator. He's just so liberal. He's just so liberal and unhappy. He was placed on leave after he launched into an expletive rant filled about Donald Trump's 2024 election win, callously telling supporters of the president-elect to jump off a bridge. That's not going to work out well. I say this in the most disrespectful way possible. See, they're all about compassion until the reality sets in and they don't get their way, right? The most disrespectful way possible. I don't care if you're in my family. I don't care if you are my friend. I don't care if we've been friends our entire lives. You can literally go if you voted for Donald Trump. Oof. Serrato said to the Oregonian. Serrato, who proudly called himself a petty person, then took aim at voters who were concerned about inflation. This is good. If you're so sad about your groceries being expensive, get a better paying job. And this is the party of compassion. Democrats are the party of compassion. I mean, I knew they were the party of pedophiles. Just look at that whole P. Diddy thing. Not one Republican in there, except 50 Cent. And he's doing expose after expose about that, right? So do better in life, he goes on to say. Get a education. Do something because you are stupid. And I hope you go off a bridge. He's going to regret those comments. I'm going to put out that stunning prediction. He's going to regret those comments the rest of his life. But you know what? He's in Oregon, so he will probably be deemed a martyr, and he'll probably be given his own department to run at the University of Oregon. That's how this ridiculous works out. And then we wonder why Oregon and Washington keep going down the crapper. Got even more homeless people here now. More people doing drugs. 10 homeless people this weekend here in Seattle, Washington got stabbed. 10 people got stabbed by a convicted felon on the streets of Seattle in the International District. Meanwhile, Washington State just keeps voting bluer. I'm sure that'll work out. The school has placed him on administrative leave and opened an investigation into the matter. Guys, we need to investigate this. He told them to jump off a bridge. I mean, I agree with him, but we can't say that out loud. That's what administrators are saying. Deep down, they're like going, somebody finally spoke up. Fuck those Trump people. Nah, you can't do that. The optics are terrible, especially when you're a state-funded school, right? As a public university, we take our duty seriously to provide an environment that welcomes diversity of thought and respect and alignment with our education mission. Yeah, well, except for this guy right here. This guy right here. He was jailed for 90 days more than a decade ago after then senior at Fresno State. He brought alcohol for a party with new members at his frat house. He boozed the boys up and he got busted and did 90 days. Must have been a lot of beer. Must have been a few kegs, right? An 18-year-old pledge died that night. So this is advice of jump off a bridge from a guy who's killed somebody due to alcohol consumption. And yet the University of Oregon has him in their process. And he's helping other kids at fraternities. That doesn't seem to really make a lot of sense. But, since that tragic night, he said his focus was on ending hazing and improving Greek life. Well, I'd say keep your political beliefs to yourself there, big guy. And I do mean big guy. My focus is accountability, holding our Greek communities accountable for their actions. Well, now you're going to be held accountable for your actions, and it's not going to work out all that well for you there, big guy. But also holding myself accountable that they're being educated properly. I would say they're not, because the vast majority of Americans voted for Trump, and you said something otherwise. So, you know what there? Whatever your name is. Yeah, you can suck it. All right. That's it for me on this one. I'll catch up with you on the next one. Thanks for being here. Bye for now.